Good evening, everybody. It's 62 Who Knew. Tonight, we bring back one of our favorite guests of all time, Ms. Diane Daniels, national expert on Medicare. There is so much to talk about, so many things happening. It's been a while since we've been live. Little minor injury. We'll be back with a great show. I'm keeping my eye on you. Welcome. It is so good to be back for a live 62 Who Knew here in the We Beam TV studios in Newport Richey, Florida. Thank you, our loyal audience, put up with our repeats. I try to call Jay Leno. I try to call so many people to co-host for me. They didn't return my call. I don't know why. As you already know, as I said in our introduction, we have Miss Diane Daniels back. Yes.
How you doing? How you doing?
The founder and president of Medicare Nation, the #1 podcast in the country on the topic of Medicare. She works with politicians. She works with business people. Fortunately, she's in the Tampa Bay area, so we don't have to beam her in.
Very fortunate.
She gets in.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
And she's ready for the Yankees to start spring training.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, we're ready to do that. But I do thank you for the loyalty of the last 5-6 weeks. Had a little situation with my eye. Not going to go into it. Because it's going to be all better. I was kind of hoping not to have the patch for today's show, but I have to have it. But by next Monday's show, we won't have it. So
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's it.
So I'm keeping my eye on you, this side, because it's the only one that works right now.
Oh my God.
So before we start talking, because there's some good stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we got good stuff.
And I know we're going to end with something that's going to bring you back for a full show on a topic that's out there right now, which we didn't think would be out there 3-4 months ago.
It's
surprising. But just for our new audience, for our new viewers, what is 62 Who Knew? Let me just give you that premise. 62 Who Knew was created because of the blessing, or like what I like to say sometimes, the mixed blessing of longer lifespans. When our fathers, their mothers, grandmas, the whole 9 yards, all of us, as we get to retirement, when we get to that age of 62, as we're approaching it, all generations, for many generations, have the same question. Did I save enough money? Should I pay off my mortgage? Should I have a mortgage? Should I have a car payment? Do I need long-term care insurance? I'm not 65 yet, but maybe I should be thinking about Medicare supplemental policy. Mm-hmm. Do I have enough life insurance, or do I need it at all? By the way, I bought it when I was earlier to protect my children when they were younger. Mm-hmm. They've been out of the house. I have grandchildren now. Do I have enough in savings? Am I taking enough chance with my portfolio? Everybody has the same questions, except for maybe the top 1% of multi-millionaires.
They don't need to think about that.
They don't need to. The rest of us need to think about that. But our generation, my generation, I'll be 62. I cannot believe this, in 4 months. My generation has a different obstacle, and that is longer lifespans, where our parents and grandparents and their parents had to figure out how to live into their late 70s. Mm-hmm. Many of them lived longer, but that was the average. Today, if you make it to 65 years old in the United States of America, you have a 50-50 chance of making it to 90. So you got to let that sink in. If you make it to 65 years old in this country, and notice I didn't say make it to 65 healthy. I just said make it to 65.
Just make it.
You have a shot, a 50-50 shot of making it to 90. So let's do the math. 65 from 90 is 25. how many people watching, and we have about 80,000 people watching. I still can't believe that, and I thank you so much. Of you 80,000, well, 80,002, okay, counting us.
Exactly.
How many people have 25 years cash reserve saved in the bank so they can live a nice retirement without wanting for anything and never have to bring in any more income?
That's got to be a very small amount.
It's less than 2%.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And I'm not one of them.
I'm not one of them
I'm
either.
not one of them
I'm
either.
just going to be
so
right up
that's
front
what
about
62 Who Knew is about. Who knew at 62 that you still had another 20 to 30 years left on this planet? And that brings on you, it's a blessing, but it's a double-edged sword. So every week on 62 Who Knew, we bring in Medicare experts. We bring in Medicare supplemental experts. We bring in long-term care insurance experts, health experts, life insurance, real estate, because as people live longer, there's going to be a shortage of senior housing, food experts, life insurance experts, financial planners, annuities. The list goes on. And we were worried that this platform, this theory might not be that well accepted. But here from an internet television studio, a great studio owned by Mr. John Gaston, we've grown in just a little over a year to 80,000 viewers. So people do want to know when they get to 62, how do we maintain that quality of life? So thank you for being here. And now let's talk about Medicare, because that's one thing that everybody's going to get. I don't know anybody in my life that ever said, no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us.
Even the very, very rich. Gotta give me.
Oh,
that's going to save them money.
Yeah,
give me,
even
give
the top 1%. I'll take it, 65. I can't wait so I can stop paying the major medical premiums that I pay right now. So tell us, I'm looking, I know you have a lot to talk about. There's still time left on open enrollment.
Well, it's a different open enrollment. It's the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period.
Okay.
So in other words, you've got to already be on a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
Okay, so this is for you. If you're on a Medicare Advantage plan and you are upset because you made the wrong choice, or you're just unhappy with the plan, your doctor left the network, it's too much money, more than you thought it was going to cost, you can change now. Okay, until March 31st, and you could go on another Medicare Advantage plan if you'd like to, or you could come off the Medicare Advantage plan, go back to original Medicare, and pick up a standalone prescription drug plan, and then you could also add a Medicare supplement, aka Medigap, to defray those costs under original Medicare.
Right.
So these are the options that you can do right now.
And for how much longer?
Until March 31st.
Oh, not long.
Not long. Yeah. A month and a week.
Right.
So if you're unhappy, call your insurance agent, okay, and tell them, hey, I don't like my plan. I need to be on another plan. This ain't working for me. Find me the right plan. Right? You got to make sure you do that. But you got to be careful of the scavengers out there. Unfortunately, in every occupation, right?
Absolutely.
There's always some few bad apples just screwed up for everybody out there. And, insurance agents is no different.
Yeah, it's no different than anyone else.
Any occupation. But it is a Medicare regulation that a insurance agent is not allowed to contact, to solicit, anyone about this Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. They are not allowed to do that. We can't try to, get in their face and say, hey, you're not happy with that plan, right? You're not happy with that plan.
Is that what churning means?
Yeah, that's kind of like the churning, Churning.
Okay.
Yeah,
in other words, calling them just for the sake of getting another commission.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right?
That makes sense. I'm glad there's a law against that.
Hell yeah. Okay, so you've got to make this proactive, people. You got to do it yourself. If someone called you and is asking you these questions, I'm going to tell you right now, drop them like a hot potato. You don't need someone like that doesn't have the high integrity and really cares about you and what's going on, because they're only doing that in their pocket.
To make the almighty
dollar. It's for their pocket.
Well, and I have to say something, but you have to correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, because my insurance knowledge is minimal.
Like my mortgage.
Especially when I'm sitting with you with minimal, but it's minimal, period. But, many people's insurance people are their best friend, are their uncle, are their cousin, and they're wonderful people.
Absolutely.
But they're not necessarily the expert. I mean, it's different to get your car insurance. It's different to get your homeowners, which is pretty much, if you call 5 people, they're all within $100 of each other. But when you're talking about something like this is specialized. So when you say if you're not happy, call your insurance person, and I know this is very self-serving if you were to say it, but I'm going to say it, and I'm not an insurance person, so it's not self-serving. If that's the insurance person that put you in the thing that you're unhappy with, maybe you should call someone else. Even if it is your best friend or your brother-in-law, Ralph, who's got the right heart. I'm not saying they did anything wrong on purpose.
No.
But if that's the person that has you in the plan that is saying all those things, or some of those things, I can't afford it, I just don't like it, my doctor isn't covered.
Exactly.
Maybe it is time to try somebody like yourself, point blank, that specializes in Medicare, doesn't do it all. I mean, if somebody called you and said, I need car insurance, what would you say?
I don't do car.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
I do Medicare.
And that's
So that's exactly.
That's exactly all right. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're
everybody
right.
always wants. Well, don't worry, I'll call my best friend. And that's fine. But your best friend may be the best in the world at a life insurance policy or this, or even an annuity.
Right.
He may be the best at many things, but not necessarily the best at Medicare or Medicare supplemental
You're 100%
policies.
right. And you want to call it an independent broker, people, okay? Because you don't want to say, oh, I heard like that Humana plan is supposed to be pretty good. And then you call Humana, because you know what's going to happen? They're just going to push that Humana plan down your throat until you sign the papers. You can't do that.
No.
You got to call an independent person who's going to have a portfolio of different plans for you. So when you sit down and explain to them what your issues are, what your health problem is, your medications, I need this doctor for the rest of my life, then they'll be able to help you with the right plan.
And many people don't realize that. I have good friends who have watched you on this show that have said, maybe I should call them, but I think I like what I have, and I don't understand that personally. I think I like. It's not like you charge a fee when you pick up the phone. Call an expert and ask. Maybe there is better out there. If there's not, you spend 15 minutes on the phone. You spend 30. What do you mean, I think?
I know.
Yeah, I don't understand
You need
that.
to know your plan. You need to know what your out-of-pocket expenses are going to be.
I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way with this. I'm going to be making payments. I have great major medical. I really do. Thank you, Blue Cross. I really and truly have great major medical. My premiums would make most people gasp, but I'm 61 and a half years old and type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, and I'm a rack of ribs away from stroking out. So your premiums are really high when you have that. So when you have an eye surgery, and it was handleable, but I got to be honest with you, when I saw those bills, I went, and like I have to say to a lot of my mortgage clients, don't panic. I'm on a monthly payment. I had to write a couple of big checks, but they just kept coming.
I know.
And again, thank you, Blue Cross. They did great for me. Every test, everything.
Very good.
But the part that I still owe, that's why I'm working.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
And that's a big component, is that people don't realize how much they have to spend out of pocket in Medicare plans, especially on Medicare Advantage plans. They can range from $1,500 all the way up to $6,700 annually out of pocket. What a variance!
Yeah,
that's huge. That's
5 Gs.
Exactly. It's a huge spectrum, and they don't realize that. And they need to really speak with an expert, someone who's a specialist, so they can really help them find that plan. I mean, it fits them like a glove. Really, that's the way it should be. So, please, people, call your specialist. Type in Google, type in Medicare expert in Dallas, Texas. Type in Medicare expert, Los Angeles, California. Wherever you are, just type that in, and once you get past the Google ads, right?
Yes.
Once you get past that, all of a sudden you'll start seeing the major plans, but then you'll start seeing those specialists, those experts will be right there. They'll be listed.
Well, better yet, go to, correct me if I'm wrong, www.themedicarenation.com.
That's it. That's
the
the
Medicare
website.
Nation or Medicare?
The Medicare Nation.
Please do that. I've been on that site, and there are some states you're not licensed in. You're licensed
I'm not
in many.
licensed, but I consult with people all over the country.
So going to this site is something you want to do. I mean, it really and truly is. It's probably why you got that award.
Thank you.
So open enrollment. What's next? What else do we want to talk about?
All right, so let's talk about the coronavirus.
This has got me a little worried, and I just saw, I'm not going to mention names because that's rude, that a group of people from Lakeland, Florida, I don't remember where they're going. I have to look off camera for a second. Do you remember where they're going? Somewhere in Italy.
Where it just broke out.
Yes, we have a total research department here to my left that does everything. John's in the background. We have a research department? What's going on? But a group of people from Lakeland are going to Italy to help the infected people with the coronavirus. Now, to those people from Lakeland, which is a step away, thank you. What hearts you have. I mean, just thank you, thank you, thank you. don't come back until we have a cure. Why are people from Florida going to Italy
Are
to a
these
highly
medical people?
I don't think so. I think they're. Let me get to the research
This
department.
is almost
Was this-
like
were these
a
medical
church
people or
group,
just
or
volunteer?
Volunteer church group.
Volunteer
See,
church
the
group. My
church
God,
group, the
thank
church
you.
group. Yeah.
What great people. What
They are
hearts.
very big hearts.
But unless they're immune in some
They're
sort
gonna
of
get it.
yeah,
They're getting it.
yeah.
They're gonna
I
get it.
I want Lakeland to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't come back until we have a cure. I mean, I don't
that
get
is-
that.
yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'm not being facetious.
You're not.
What I know about
You're not.
this disease, you couldn't crowd the head of a pencil.
No.
All I know is I'm reading how dangerous it is, and people are going from Florida there. I don't get it.
Well,
It
so-
sounds like a Rambo movie. We're going to have to go get them. It's going to be
Exactly.
terrible. I'm going to have to get that big
Yeah,
knife.
we got to go to what is it
It's
called?
gonna be-
What's it called? The point where they go to get extracted.
Yeah,
and
it's
that whole thing.
But
Almost
I
like a
do
whole
thank
thing
you
by
for your hearts and your feelings. But my God, be careful if you're going out there.
Please, God.
And please don't bring it back. But let's talk
All right,
about this.
so let's talk
disease.
about it. So it's a virus, okay? And viruses are really tough cookies, okay? They really are tough, all right? And they're smart.
Yes.
And they mutate to help them survive and to continue to grow. So they haven't confirmed it yet, but they think this did start from an animal.
Yeah, most
Whether it
do.
was a monkey, a bat, or whatever,
Yeah.
camel, I don't know, whatever, an animal. And then it mutated and then got contracted by a human. This is how a virus is so bad. That's why we talk about, like, with antibiotics, they don't work as much anymore.
Well, that's right, 'cause we've
they're-
built up an immunity.
Yeah, we built it up, and the viruses are like, that crap don't work on me. You
Yeah.
know, so it's like, it's really tough. So for the virus to be able to mutate, to go from an animal to human, it's scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, right? So now humans got it, and it is passed person to person now. So that means it's communicable through the air droplets.
That's the most dangerous.
Most dangerous,
Yeah.
most communicable,
This
okay?
is unbelievable.
Oh, exactly. And it's a respiratory disease.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's going to obviously infect your airway and most likely your tubes and your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And then what the complications are pneumonia. Okay, and that's a lot of people die because of the complication of the pneumonia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
children and
we've
older people, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. The
Specifically.
children and older people, most undoubtedly. And then what happens is you end up with the bronchitis, and then it could develop into that pneumonia. You got a fever, you got the cough, right? And you got to go in because now you got the pneumonia. That's how it happens. And we've got within 6 feet. I don't have it. I know you don't have it.
I
So
don't
we're
have
good.
it.
But you're sitting here. All I got to do is talk. I'm probably spitting sometimes while I'm talking. Anything like that with bodily fluids
Yeah.
can be highly contracted. Any sneezing, and did you ever see that movie? I forgot what was the name of that movie.
Oh, Contagion.
Thank you, Contagion.
That
What
was
that? No, the
great.
one with Dustin Hoffman. Outbreak. The one in
Outbreak.
the movie theater. The most
Outbreak.
scariest.
We need
freaking-
this research
The most.
department.
Listen to me. The most scariest.
John, can we
part-
hire her?
The most scariest thing I saw in a movie was when they were in a movie theater, and the guy who had the virus like sneezed, and they showed you like, oh, the droplets like spraying
Yes.
out like for thousands and freaking all those.
That was
people.
a great movie.
Yeah, it was. It
Remember
was.
that scene in the helicopter?
Yeah, it's scary
Yeah,
stuff.
Dustin Hoffman was
I'll tell
incredible.
you, but so that's what this could be like. All right, so you have to be very careful. All right, now right now it originated in China, as we all know, right? So anybody
They
that
love giving us stuff.
traveled to China,
They love giving us
I
stuff.
know.
I wonder if there was a mock-up or something.
like our little bases and everything. Wasn't
that's
it?
right.
Now we gotta have that. So we
Why
started
are
out
we laughing
there
about this terrible disease?
because it's scary. When you get scared, you
we're
gotta
never
laugh.
going to get picked up by a major station
Sorry.
if we
Yes,
continue
we
to
are.
laugh
Yes,
at
we are.
this.
Yes, we are. So it started out in China, right? Then all the people that are visiting China, all the cruise ships, all those people
Oh, my God.
contracting it, and they're bringing it back again. The whole Far East, we're talking to like China, we're talking about Japan, we're talking
most
about
people in the
Thailand.
world.
All that over there is spreading like crazy. It's spreading like crazy. And everybody that's coming back, okay, is because they're traveling and bringing it, is causing the furthering of this epidemic, which it is an epidemic.
It is
I'm
an
not
epidemic.
calling it a pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it that, people.
Right,
but
but it is an
It is
epidemic.
definitely an
Yeah.
epidemic, okay, for sure. So currently we have 53 confirmed cases here in the United States as of today,
Mm-hmm.
53. And globally it is 77,150 people
I
that
did
have
not
the
know-
disease.
I didn't know that number was that big.
Well, I didn't know it was that bad either until I just looked up. And now the number that have died is 2,592 that have died from it.
So about 1.5%.
There you go.
Now, are there others teetering on? I mean, is this a terminal virus, or can you get better?
Well, right now there is no vaccine. And with most viruses, there is no proficient cure.
So
they do have some antivirals that try to help to stagnate the growth of a virus.
But all 77,000 of these people, their life's going to be greatly shortened by this?
Not all 77,000,
that's
no.
good. That's good.
People, your own immune system,
Yeah.
it can fight.
But older people,
children, and the younger people are
people
very
with COPD,
highly.
I would think,
my
asthma.
God. Forget about it, that part.
Forget about it. I got both those things. Yeah,
Forget about it.
I might as well just go have food next door.
But it might as well go get some bacon burger or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you have traveled in the past 4 weeks to China, to Japan, anywhere in the eastern part of the world, and you come back and you have some sort of upper respiratory problem, when you call your health provider, please tell them you traveled and you were there and you're coming in, and you should try to get one of those masks if you can. Okay, so that you can stop trying to spread that to everybody. That will help us here in America to stop spreading. We got to try to do the best we can. Yeah, and even obviously, if you have anything else, because it's still flu season. Okay, I mean,
you could mistake it for just your asthma or a normal bronchitis, and it could be something much worse. Go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor, but tell them. But tell them, especially if you traveled, that you were traveling in the East or wherever now, any one of these countries. Go on the CDC.gov website. That will give you all the countries. Italy is now the newest country in Europe. Okay,
I was at P.F. Chang's last Monday. Does that count?
That does not count.
Okay, good.
That does not count whatsoever.
I was very worried about that for a second.
So far, I know Mexico has not had a case. Africa just
too many
had
drugs
its
in
first,
Mexico.
Too many drugs.
Can't get through.
Africa just had its first couple of cases, and South America does not have it yet. So the only two countries left, continents, is South America and Mexico in North America.
This is real. I mean,
no, it's real. So anyway, the point I wanted to tell you, Medicare, is that they finally got their you-know-what together, and now they have a test that Medicare is covering to detect if you have the coronavirus. And beginning April 1st, they have the code, and I want you to write this down because if you please write this down. If you have some of the signs, symptoms, and you're worried about the coronavirus, and you're getting a test for it in order for Medicare to pay for it, the code is nice and simple. It's the letter U like unicorn. And then it's 0001. They made it. That's nice and simple, right? So U0001 is the code. Give it to the damn doctor and say,
and it'll be covered.
Medicare will cover it. Yeah, that'll cover it. Starting April 1st, but they are retroactive to February.
It's one thing when you see it in a movie.
Exactly.
It's a totally other thing in reality.
And we live what? Like, we hear it on the news. Like, it happened in Italy now, and I don't know how many cases in Italy.
A lot.
And what do we say? Oh, my God, that's awful. I mean, and I feel bad at that moment for those people in Italy. Yeah. But then what happens 5 minutes later? Oh, honey, hold on. It's done. It's out of mind, out of sight, out of mind.
It is.
Right?
It is.
It's unless it hits home.
Yeah. And how many people in America? Did you say 50-something?
53.
Well,
confirmed cases, and over 475 people have been tested.
Well, and that's what's spooky about that. And I'm not trying to ring the panic bell either. No. People would go, okay, how many people in this country? 350 million? 400 million? Mm-hmm. Okay, what's 50-something? But the truth is, it's like that penny that you double every day, and at the end of the month, you're a multi-millionaire. Right. This is not that one person. If 56 people are breathing on 56 people who are breathing on 56 people, this could be a very big number very quickly. So please, if do that code one more time.
It's U like uniform. 0001. That's the code.
And obviously that's your Medicare code.
That's the Medicare code
moms and
for the
dads
tests and specifically it's called the SAR5-CoV2 test.
All right, there you go.
All right, that's the
but
official.
But specifically, not just for older people on Medicare, but for all the moms and dads out there with younger children that in today's world with the allergies and the respiratory infections and the postnasal drip. I mean, my children are older now, but grandchildren, don't be shy about this.
No, don't.
Get to a doctor.
It's serious.
I don't want to hear from people I know. Yeah. It's just the sniffles. Don't worry about it. There is an epidemic going on. So early detection is about everything.
And it always is
really spooky to think about. Really and truly.
It is very spooky. So got to get it out there. We got to get people aware. Take precautions. Your own personal washing the hands. Wipe down those doorknobs and the toilet flush handles and the seats and everything. Wash them down.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. All right. What's next on your list?
Ta-da.
Now that we've panicked 83,000 people that are listening, what are we going to do now?
So now we're going to talk about acupuncture.
Cool, I like that.
Medicare finally finally is deeming acupuncture as medically necessary.
Really?
Yeah, finally. January 21st, it started.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
now there's a hell of a lot of conditions, which kind of pissed me off. But at least we got a foot in the door. Got a
That's
foot in the door.
That's beginning of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we had a guest, I don't know if you watched the show a few months ago, talk about his hyperbaric chamber oxygen treatment. And Medicare has finally, or the AMA and then Medicare followed, that oxygen is actually a medicine and is covering some of it. But again, he said so many conditions, Michael,
It's
that
ridiculous.
it infuriates me. But our foot is in the door.
At the foot of the door, but I want to know who is making these regulations. Obviously, it's not a person who knew anything about hyperbaric, never had to be in it, never had to worry about it, never had a friend
Same
or
thing
family
with
member,
acupuncture.
never even read about it. Yeah, and nothing about acupuncture. These are the people that are making these regulations.
our government.
God forbid.
Yeah.
Okay, so for acupuncture, all right, if you have chronic lower back pain,
Okay.
that is a big criteria, number one. So chronic lower back pain and, ready? It's almost like I need a drum roll. You've had this chronic low back pain for 12 weeks or more.
Okay.
So this is what I say. If somebody walks up to me, I've had this freaking back pain for 8 weeks. I can't even stand. I can't even sit with you right now, Michael. I have to get up. I got to walk.
And that's
it's
what
so
back
bad,
pain
right?
is. Yeah.
It's so bad, right? 8 weeks. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're a
Medicare's not
month
going to cover it yet.
Yeah, can you
can't go
suffer
yet.
another month?
Yeah, one more month. Just suffer
Why
through
try?
that pain for 4 more weeks.
Of
please.
all things, back pain.
I know.
Which is-
okay. So they're making this big deal because of all the opioid crisis, the whole thing that's going on, right?
Right.
So we're trying to add different treatments to help people. They added the massage. We talked about this on the last show.
Yep.
Again, for back pain, right? Same thing. So why can't we just add these things right away? Take away this crap of this 12 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, if I got back pain for a week and nobody knows what it is, let me go try it.
Well,
Instead of giving
aren't
me a
they
whole
in-
thing of OxyContin.
Well, I was just going to
All
say,
right?
aren't they inviting more of the oxy? What are you going to do for that month? You got to take painkillers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not helping the
So
problem.
I went to the doctor after 3 weeks, and he said, "I'm sorry, you can't have acupuncture. You tried everything else. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You got to wait another 9 weeks.
Yeah, here's
You
more
come
pain-
back.
here's
come
more
back.
painkillers.
Have another. Here's another script. All right. So they're going to cover 12 visits in 90 days, almost like one a week.
Yeah.
I've never had acupuncture, so I don't know
Neither
how
have I.
often they do it. But for 90 days, 12 visits, that's one a week.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one a week what they're offering, and then another disclaimer is that the patient must be improving to continue those 12 visits. Must be improving.
So the doctor has to say that.
Yeah, the doctor is going to have to, do some notes and say that, this is helping, this has decreased the level of pain or something like that, right?
Right.
Okay. And then they can add an additional 8 visits if it's working, okay? If it's not working, we got to stop. Discontinue.
Yeah.
Ixnay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, I'm going to
No
say
more.
most doctors are going to say it's improving because they won't
Of
do
course
it
they're gonna
because
say it.
Nobody's going to say stop paying me.
No.
Yes, his arm is growing back. It looks much better now.
Exactly. But look, if they're going to give you 12 visits, who the hell's to say that in 2 visits you got to
can't.
say if you're feeling better? You don't know. Everybody's different, right?
Yes.
So you're going to get 12. Go.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
Who's
if it's-
writing these things?
I don't know. They're not
Who
calling
is-
me.
Yeah,
I can
that's-
tell you that. All right. And
Nothing gets
it's-
better that quick, especially a back injury.
Exactly, and especially if they want to call it chronic. They've had it
Right.
for 12 weeks. You made them wait 12 weeks. All
Now
right.
you want it better in 2.
In 2 visits, yeah. All right. So okay, so they're doing that. All right. So now that is all they're covering. I don't care if you have arthritis. I don't care if you have fibromyalgia. I don't care what else you've got going on. We're not giving you acupuncture for nothing else. And acupuncture designed thousands of years ago, right, by the
Many people
Eastern,
swear by-
the Eastern medicine to help with pain. And to help reduce inflammation, help reduce the problems. Okay, but we're only covering it for chronic low back pain. That's it. Nothing else.
Well, like you said, the foot's in the door.
The foot's in the door, right? Okay, so now here's another good kicker. Here's another one. A doctor, okay, is the person supervising the physician's assistant, the nurse practitioner,
Right.
or ready? The acupuncturist. It has to be under the supervision of a physician in order for this acupuncturist to do their
acupuncturists
thing.
are not under
For God's sakes, they're the one that has all the experience, all the training, went to school for 2 to 4 years, then had 3,000, I talked to one of my acupuncturist friends, up to 3,000 hours of the needling 3,000 hours. You know how long I found out an MD would do it if they added it on? A weekend. A weekend.
The whole point of Eastern medicine is because you're getting away from Western medicine.
Right.
So now they want a Western medicine doctor
to supervise,
to not only agree
yeah.
with Eastern medicine, which doesn't make them money,
yeah.
which doesn't allow them to do the things they do. Not only do they need to agree, but they need to work with this person and charge because they don't work for free.
No.
This
okay.
is...
So this poor acupuncturist...
This is not a good foot in the door.
Well, it's a foot. It's a foot. So
yeah.
they have their master's degree. These people get their doctorate degrees in Oriental medicine or in acupuncture, right? I mean, thousands of hours. But we've got to be under the supervision of a physician.
Of a Western doctor that probably doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's...
What a system.
This is where we are. So it's in the door. So that's for original Medicare, folks. So not Medicare Advantage, although there are a few, very small segment of Medicare Advantage plans that are offering it because they heard it was coming. I think they just snuck in the door. That was smart. They're in.
That's good.
Okay, so now that the rule has been finalized, if you do have a plan, I would tell you to go look at your summary of benefits booklet, see if you have acupuncture.
Why not?
It's only going to be a very small amount of plans. And hell, you can use it. Just go see the person in the network.
Right, and suffer for 12 weeks.
But first 12 weeks, yeah.
Yes,
you're going to know ahead of time. You got to suffer.
Yes.
And it can't have any origin either.
What do you mean? I'm confused.
Okay, so it can't be
you were in a car accident.
Right. It can't be because you're pregnant. It can't be because there was inflammation or because you slipped in a bowling alley. It can't have any known cause. In other words, it's your last resort.
So wait a minute. If you were rear-ended in a car,
right,
you couldn't do it because that's your known factor?
That's correct. It has to be unknown. Isn't that insane?
Well, yeah, that's...
Listen, I'm telling you, I don't know who sat down with this panel. I would love to have been there.
I'm pretty sure it was Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles.
I have no
possibly
idea.
Helen Keller through a Ouija board. What? That is
Insane.
absurd.
I know.
Because when you go to a doctor, even a Western doctor, one of the first things they do with the diagnosis is, what caused this?
Of course.
But if they identify that, you can't apply to Medicare. This has to be an unknown, a mystery.
A mystery.
This is, your foot's in the door, but they're kind of slamming the door on your foot. It's like, get out.
I'm really sorry.
Unbelievable. You learn it here, whether you like it or not.
You're going to learn it. So it's in the damn door. Okay, so if you've been suffering for 4 weeks, it should be 12 weeks. It really is. You made a mistake. It's 12 weeks.
Yeah,
And then you're going to talk to the doctor.
I'll write you a letter. It's really been 12 weeks. Call me.
I mean, who can suffer that long? My God.
Especially with back pain.
Exactly.
That is the most debilitating pain. Yeah, it's just terrible.
I know. All right. So that's it. We're in the door. It's there. It's medically necessary, but only if you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yes, only if it's a mystery.
All right.
Oh, my God.
All right. Oh, last thing on my list here is March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Well, let's celebrate that because that holiday's up there. Get it? That holiday's up there. Get it? All right. I hope
that was as good as I got my eye on you.
Yeah. So I hope some of the 83,000 people laughed at it. I hope they're on the couch going,
I hope so.
I hope so. But,
So with colorectal cancer, about 143,000 people will get diagnosed in 2020 with colorectal cancer. And
men and women?
Men and women, combined. Thank you, though. Of course, it'll be more men than women.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's combined. And
so we have our head up our ass so often.
and the women drive crazy. Yeah. So, and out of those 143,000, about 51,000 will die from it.
Whoa. Now, that's surprising. 141,000. What did you say, 51,000?
About 51,000 will die from it.
That's almost 36%.
That's right.
I thought that type of cancer, if caught early enough, has got a huge cure rate.
It does. It does.
So then why are they dying?
They're dying because it didn't get caught early enough, because the people didn't recognize maybe some of the symptoms and didn't utilize some of these preventative testing that we have available under Medicare. So, yeah, it is almost 36%.
That's amazing.
But you were 100% right when you said that it is one of the cancers that is one of the most curable, especially when it's found early enough. That's right. Okay. That's why we're making it aware for all you people.
The whole month is
we want you to know the whole month.
March.
The whole month of March we're aware. Yeah. Okay. And all right, you're 62. Haven't you had your colonoscopy?
I'm ashamed to say I haven't.
You have not.
No.
You see?
No.
This is what we're talking about. I'm not saying that you have any problems.
No,
but
I know. I've been checking, trying to find the right doctor. I want him to at least take me out to dinner before the.
You want to at least try to be taken out to dinner before we go personal.
A bracelet, something, a watch, something. I know he's not going to call afterwards.
Yeah,
so
no,
I've been checking.
I have, of course.
This is I'm a very bad example.
You're a bad example, but you're a perfect example of saying why someone would die, because they haven't had the test, so it's hard to get screened.
Our research department laughed at that.
You got to get screened.
You're a perfect example of someone that's going to die. I don't think that's
You are. You're perfect. Oh.
Why are we laughing? I don't know. This is a weird show. I think it's because I haven't been here in 3 weeks. We've been laughing at the coronavirus. We're laughing at the nice people.
These are gloomy subjects we're talking about.
Laughing at the incredibly warm-hearted, big-hearted people from Lakeland going over there. We're laughing at me dropping dead because I haven't found a doctor with small fingers.
I know.
This is just bad. We're doing bad.
We have gloomy subjects. You got to lighten it up.
We're never going to go major network. No one's going to want us on their show.
Yes, they are.
What are they talking about? They're laughing so much. Oh, the coronavirus. Really? What's the name of the show? 62 and we go senile. That's the new name of the show.
All right, so we're going to talk about tests under Medicare that are covered, okay, for screening tests, so we could detect this early. Okay, and so you have that higher percentage of living longer, okay? So we don't become part of that 36%.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's very bothersome.
But it's a scary thing. I mean,
it is.
It's a scary. Nobody wants to go there. You know. All right. So I understand why people are afraid, and how you feel that way. But it's so important. People, you're going to be asleep. You ain't going to know nothing.
All of my friends, and I mean all of them, have had this. Relatives, friends, and they all say it's the night before.
Oh,
when you take the medicine.
Well, yeah. It is.
That is the most, that you go, they tell you to count backwards from 100. You don't even make it to 98.
Right.
Then you wake up and go, when are you going to do it? And they go, no, it's done.
And believe me, because I had it done, and that whole day before is the worst part. Okay, you can't obviously have any water, you can't eat anything, you can't do nothing. So God forbid you have like a 2:00 appointment, p.m.
Everybody says you can't work
all
the
day. You're like, oh my God, you have a migraine and everything.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
The surgery that I had on my eye 14 weeks ago was actually the first surgery of my life. Now I'm not counting.
Wow.
I'm not counting my wisdom teeth.
All right.
Yeah, that's Novocaine.
Right.
I have never ever had surgery till this.
Wow.
And it was a fairly serious surgery for your first surgery.
Yeah.
But I had this unrealistic dream. I still have my tonsils. I wanted to go out with the original equipment, like an antique car.
I'm very sorry.
But now that this happened, and just, oh my God, huge. I was going to wait till the end of the show, but at the end of the show, I'll say more.
Okay.
Huge kudos to Bascom Palmer Eye Clinic in Miami, the #1 eye clinic in the world that took a very, very serious situation here and cured it. I thought about, oh, my eye, and oh my God. Now that I've been through this with no pain, no discomfort, best doctors in the world, I probably can do the colonoscopy.
You can go get a colonoscopy.
March is my month.
Please,
You made me aware. Yeah, maybe we'll do it live. That'll get.
Hey, they do everything else live on TV.
John,
now,
can we do my colonoscopy live? That should get us on national TV. Yes. Ripley's Believe It or Not. Why is this fat one-eyed guy bent over his table?
So let's talk about the different tests under Medicare.
Okay, let's get back to
so that we could get people to go get some of these tests done. Now, so the big one that everybody's nervous about is the colonoscopy.
Yes, I'm nervous about that.
That's the one, the big one. All right. So what's nice about Medicare that there is no minimum age for a colonoscopy. Okay. So whether you're 65 and older and you're on Medicare, you're fine. If you're under 65 and on Medicare, doesn't matter if you're 19 years old or 40 years old. Okay, you could have the colonoscopy.
How do you get on Medicare when you're under 65 years old? You just
disability.
Medicare
if you're
disability.
disabled,
I'm sorry.
You're disabled, and then you've been on the disability for 24 months.
Okay.
That 24th month you get on Medicare.
Okay, I got you.
All right. So there's no age limit with the colonoscopy.
Okay.
All right. So if you're high risk for colorectal cancer, you would have a history in your family, or maybe you've already had polyps or you've had a problem, you could have the test done every 2 years. Okay, every 24 months. But if you're not a high risk, like thank God I wasn't when I had mine, then it's every 120 months or 10 years, about 10 years, that you go ahead again and get the colonoscopy. Yeah.
I know this is probably a medical question, but my doctor, a great doctor, here in Palm Harbor, who knows I'm chicken. There is another type of test.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Oh, is
Stop
that?
going ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have a bunch of tests we're going to talk
good.
about, but you're going too
All right,
fast.
good. I'm sorry.
We're talking about the scary one first.
Yeah, we did.
That's
We
the
got
most
the
scary
scary.
one.
I
All
wanna
right.
do the less scary
So the other thing is that it's a preventative exam under Medicare.
Okay.
Okay, so preventative exam under Medicare, there is no out-of-pocket cost.
Okay.
All right, so no out-of-pocket cost for the preventative exams. Go right on Medicare.gov and click on the preventative exams, and there's a list. There's got to be over 30 different preventative exams available that you can have at no charge. But here is the caveat. You get put out, you're sleeping in La La Land, the doctor's doing their thing, all right, and they find polyps. What are they going to do with those polyps? They're taking them out.
Of course, that's what they should do. Yeah.
Or if there's a suspicious growth, they're taking it out or they're doing a biopsy. If that happens, that is now surgery. So now you do get charged.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So it's free as long as they find nothing.
Exactly. It's free if you're beautiful and clear and there's nothing going on. It's all pink and
But
beautiful.
you need the help if it's something.
Okay, so if they do got to go in there and do something, then you got to pay, depending on what it is. And if you're on original Medicare, depending, you're going to pay for the physician services, and you're going to pay whether it's in a hospital, outpatient hospital setting, as opposed to an ambulatory setting.
Right.
Okay. The good thing about it is they do not apply your Part B deductible to that. So you don't have to worry about the $198, folks. If you're going to have your colonoscopy this month, and it's the first type of any kind of medical care or whatever you're doing for 2020, you won't have to worry about the deductible. You just got to pay the 20% of the physician services and the outpatient hospital or ambulatory center if they find polyps or a growth.
Okay.
All right?
You got it.
All right, so that's good. So now the second one is called a flexible sigmoidoscopy. Obviously, it was named after a sigmoid or something.
Sigmoid,
right?
yes.
Sigmoid, Mr. Sigmoid.
Mr. Sigmoid. What a thing to be
what a
named after.
sigmoid is that is only going to check your inner lining of your rectum and the lower part of your colon, just the lower part.
So not as invasive?
Not as invasive. That's correct. Not as invasive.
Okay.
All right, you're getting the real one because you haven't had any yet.
No,
Don't try to get out of it.
Yeah, I know.
You're getting the real one. It's got to go way in. It's got to snake its way
stop
up like
saying that.
like the plumber.
My luck, John will be using one of these cameras with a tripod on it that's 6 feet tall.
All right, so with the flexoid
I don't feel good.
sigmoidoscopy, you can have it if you're high risk every 48 months.
Okay.
And if you're not, again, it's the 10 years, the 120 months. Again, you don't have to worry about your Part B deductible. You just pay the coinsurance, which applies to where you're having it done. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Next, we've been doing this since we were kids. Who remembers the fecal blood test? Do you remember the fecal
Yes.
blood test when
Yes.
you're a kid? You got to poop, they smear it on a slide and send it out. Okay, so that's a test. That's a test.
What's the
that everybody
accuracy
has.
on that test?
Obviously, it's not as good as the plumbing.
Would you stop doing that? At least do that. But don't do that.
If you do that, you're gonna have a
do that.
problem.
But
This-
that's giving me
this-
real.
Hey.
That's giving me the chills.
All
I'll
right,
be
so
honest with
you can have that paid under Medicare every 12 months.
Okay.
So every 12 months, you can have a schmear,
We'll do a schmear.
and we'll take it.
Now I'm not even going to have a bagel tomorrow because
The only
it's just
thing,
the whole
make
schmear
sure with
thing.
all of these tests, everyone, that you're making sure that the provider accepts Medicare. That's extremely important when you have Medicare, that they have to accept Medicare. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay 100%. All right?
Okay.
All right, next test. There's another stool at home, though. At home, we got the multi-target stool DNA. This is like your Cologuard. The little
I've seen that
duty
commercial.
guy on the commercial.
Yeah.
So just like that now. So that's an acceptable test under Medicare. You have to be 50 or older.
Okay, I'm that.
All right, you're that. And there's a bunch of little, I got to read this. There's got a lot of requirements again. All right.
Get ready
you
to write this
can't
down,
have
all my 62 Who Knew viewers.
no symptoms of colorectal disease, including but not limited to lower gastrointestinal pain.
No, I don't have that.
All right, no blood in the stool.
Never.
All right. No positive fecal blood test.
No.
All right. And no positive fecal immunochemical test.
Nope.
All right. And then you have to be an average risk for developing colorectal cancer, meaning you don't have any personal history of colorectal cancer. Personal history. No adenomatous
What is that?
polyps, which
Oh,
is
never had that.
benign polyps, but they can be precursors towards cancer. Right? All right.
I have that.
No inflammatory bowel disease and like
have that.
Crohn's.
I've never had
and
that.
Or ulcerative colitis.
I've never had that.
And also, you can have no familial history
That's a
of
problem.
colorectal cancer or adenomatous polyps or familial adenomatous polyps or hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer.
My father.
So then you won't be able to have the multi-target stool DNA test.
My father and all three of his brothers had this type of cancer.
Okay.
In
So
their 70s.
people, you got to really understand this, because you can't just watch the commercial and order the kit. You know, you can't just go to the doctors and have them give you the kit. Okay. If you have that personal history of the polyps or you've had the cancer, you can't take this test. Or even if the people in your family, and we're talking about your immediate family. I'm not talking about, cousin Ed
Cousins. It's mother
down
and
there.
father.
Yeah, we're talking about, your
Cousin
mom, your mother and father,
Not
your sisters and
Morticia.
brother. No Morticia.
No
All right?
Morticia, no Wednesday.
So if you don't have any of that, then you're clear. Then you can go with the colorectal exam. Otherwise, ixnay on that one. And
Okay.
we got to go with the...
Yeah, so obviously my father and all three of his brothers, that makes my cousin and all of us familial.
Exactly. Familia.
Familia.
The familia, eh? And then the last one is a screening barium enema. The enema.
Is that where you drink something or no?
You know what an enema is, right?
Yeah, I do know what that
Well,
is.
that's exactly what it is.
Oh, but there's
But it's
barium
like
in it.
barium in it, yeah. So we got the barium in it, and that is, again, for 50 and over. It can be done every 48 months, so that's every 4 years, again, or every 24 months if you're at high risk for colorectal cancer, and you will pay 20% of the Medicare allowable cost for that.
Right.
So, that is a lot of tests.
It
So
is.
for someone who's petrified, to have the actual colonoscopy, go for the flexoid
We have
one,
somebody sitting
the
next to you that
sigmoid.
keeps doing this.
Keeps doing this.
You can get petrified
You
really
might be able to
quick.
do the Cologuard. If not, obviously you got the fecal stool test. So there's some options, but the most important thing is people get one of them done, because if you can determine right away at a very early stage, it is highly curable.
Yes.
It really is. It's highly curable, and that's why we have these tests.
Well, I have a family event having in March, but as soon as that family event happens, that's my fourth grandchild, but my first granddaughter. And so then I'm not doing anything that can lay me up.
That's when you'll have the test?
Well, after the baby is born.
After the baby's born, that's when I'm going to keep calling you?
Yep,
Make sure
that's
you have
it.
it.
By the time we have our April show,
All right.
I'll be sitting here going, yes, I had the test.
And there was no problem.
And there was no problem.
And 99, they're going to say you had
there isn't
hemorrhoids
no
whether you
problem.
do or not.
Yeah.
Just to make it
My
look like
father
it
and
was
all
worth
my
it.
uncles had it in their 70s. That's when it developed and was cured. None of them died from
Okay.
it, none of anything.
Michael,
Yeah.
more the reason you should be
Yeah, I know.
having this exam.
I know, sometimes I don't do smart things.
Okay, but we talked about the 36%. All right,
Yeah, I
so
know.
I'm not saying that's you, but
No, I
we
understand. I
need to
understand.
get these things done
All right.
early, preventative, all right?
Okay.
I'm telling you, stuff is always going on with
This,
Medicare. It's always going on.
Yeah, it is.
all right?
Well, Medicare is something, we have
Every
guests, as you
evolving.
know, constantly that not everybody can buy life insurance. You have to be at a certain age, you have to have a certain health, and you're not going to get past the underwriting.
Yeah.
Not everybody can get long-term care insurance.
That's right.
I mean, my God, if you have too many accidents, you can't get car insurance.
That's right.
But when you hit 65, it doesn't make a difference if you're a multi-billionaire
Nope.
or you're the guy, that has no money.
Nope.
You're getting that. Nobody says no to it.
No, and it doesn't matter if you've got 3 stents in your heart, if
That's
you've been
right.
on insulin.
It is kind of
since you were
incredible.
born. It
really is incredible.
I love Medicare. You
Yeah.
know I love Medicare. I hope to God it's still there the way it is now when I'm 60.
Yeah, I think it'll be better. I hope
really
it's
do.
better.
I hope it's better too.
I need the break.
I hope it's
Yeah.
better. I
I
certainly
can
do.
be all over the place.
No, yeah, I know. I don't like that, but we'll see. It's a wonderful program. It really is, folks. And if you have any questions, you can always send me an email.
Yeah,
Just
please
send
do.
it to support.
Yeah, go to
at
go ahead.
MedicareNation.com.
Do you want to do your any other email? Or you want everything
That
to
was
come
just
through the
it.
website?
Support at TheMedicareNation.com.
Okay, I'm
That's the
sorry.
email.
Okay, I'm sorry. And then, of course, you can go to the website that's up on the screen.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have anything left on your list?
I covered it. I know we wanted to,
Let's lightly cover, because we can do a whole show on this, and I want you to come back, let's say in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and do a whole show. But let's talk about it for like 5 minutes, and that'll give me 3 minutes to end the show. Okay? We try not to get political. I try not to take sides, and I'm not going to take sides, as far as left and right. But to my surprise, it does appear that, that there's a very, very good chance that Bernie Sanders could be the Democratic candidate for president come this year. If you would have asked me that 3 to 6 months ago, I would have said no way. And of course, everybody knows Bernie's main push, well, not main push, he wants everything to be for free, but one of the big things, and he says he's figured out how to pay for it, is Medicare for all. Now, I have friends, including yourself, that are Republicans and Democrats, conservatives, liberals, and I have yet to find a friend or an expert that says this will do anything but hurt this country terribly. Not just a little, not just an adjustment period, like when we had the Industrial Revolution. People turned out to be right. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people were put out of jobs because of industries, because of computers, because of conveyor belts. But we did adjust, and the country became better for it. And even 20 years ago, when computerization, 30 years ago, became a household word, people were replaced. There's no way to get around it. But we adjusted, and new revenues and new careers were built. And I'm trying not to be biased, but I have experts telling me we won't recover from this if by some miracle he becomes president and actually gets this put through. So with now 3 minutes remaining.
3 minutes.
Yeah, at least. What do you
We'll
think?
come back. We'll have a whole show on it.
Yeah, we got to have a whole show on it.
We could talk from now until the end of, till November about this if we wanted to. I mean, we could do a whole show on
that.
But
a 10,000-foot or 20,000-foot view from one of the best Medicare experts in the United States of America, give us that 20,000-foot view.
The 20,000-foot view is that CMS spends over $3 trillion a year on health care.
Okay.
Okay, a year. All right. And on average now, it's about $11,500 per person on health care. It's what it averages out to be right now. Which, according to Bernie Sanders, is way above the other countries in this world. Right? Where countries like Canada and France and other countries, Denmark, will will be about maybe 4,000, per person, to up to 6,000 per person. So his proponent is for the Medicare for all because it will be way less expensive than the money we're spending out and pouring out on healthcare now. Medicare, CMS is projecting 50 trillion within the next 10 years on healthcare. So his statement is that it will be way less. That the only problem is that, Bernie, why don't you just give us the numbers, okay? Because I don't see how you're funding this, okay? Original Medicare in 1965 just wasn't funded overnight.
That's right.
It was not. And nobody could even access a benefit for at least a year. Okay, because they had to start funding it. And then it was dribs and drabs until they kept going door to door to get people to join the Medicare program.
About that, yeah.
So, you can't just say, that this is going to be great and it's going to be so much more money less than what we're spending. I get it. Yes, it could happen, but you've got to tell us give us some estimates. Nobody's holding you to this amount, because I don't hold a politician for nothing they say anymore, because it's just a bunch of BS.
On both sides of the aisle.
Both sides. I don't care.
Both sides of the aisle.
I don't care who it is. It's BS, okay? They just want to get elected. They just want your vote. It don't happen, because as we know, the president really can't make much change.
No.
Okay, once you get in there, it's who's running the Senate.
Right.
Who's running the Senate?
Right.
If it's the Democrats, then the Democrats are going to push what their agendas are. Right. If it's the Republicans, the Republicans.
But even the Democrats
are
against Medicare for all.
Right, you see the candidates, right?
They're all arguing with them.
They're arguing about it. So we've got him and we got Warren. And she's already moved away from the full Medicare for all.
And I don't want to take sides, but
Medicare for all. No, I'm just saying, I'm listening and watching. So we've got all those candidates that aren't even for it. So he's going to have a very tough road. And and all the millennials are seeing is free.
And that's what millennials want.
Free healthcare.
Yeah.
Free tuition.
Get rid of your student
Free
loans.
hamburgers at McDonald's. I'm sure that'll be coming up. That'll be coming up. So I got to see the numbers. I've got to see how he's going to make this work.
Yep.
So
there is a member of my family that is pro-Bernie, and he has, urged me to keep an open mind, and I've listened to some things.
Yeah.
And as I get older, I do try and become more open-minded. I am not voting for Bernie Sanders. I do not want a socialist Democrat to be president of this great country. I don't have any hatred for Bernie Sanders. I mean, people are calling him crazy, and he's not crazy.
No, he's a very smart man.
He's a super
Extremely
intelligent man.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be mad at a guy that wants everybody to have everything. Unrealistic? Yes. Comparing us to Norway, I mean,
I know,
you just can't do that. But be that as it may, I did watch. It's not like I'm plugging this person because he's got so much a following. I did watch a Joe Rogan podcast where he had Bernie on, and Joe Rogan's an intelligent guy. People connect him to UFC or Fear Factor.
Yeah.
He was a comedian for a while. This is a very intelligent man, one of the largest watched podcasts on the planet.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he had a good hour and a half with Bernie with hard questions. And he said to Bernie, I'm going to ask the hard one. How are you going to pay for it? That's what I want to know. That's what, I forget how many millions, if not tens of millions of people watch Joe Rogan. And he did have an answer. Now, I don't have the intelligence or the wherewithal to know if this is a good answer. But it did make me go, and I'm not a Bernie supporter. And what was his answer? A luxury tax of 0.5% on every stock sale in the country. Now, it is mostly upper wealthy people that buy a lot of stock. If I bought 10,000 shares of something, we're talking about $50.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
But you're talking about the millionaires and billionaires that buy and he looked in the camera, Bernie, and he went, it's just that simple. Do the math. I am not going to hurt America over this. A luxury tax on Wall Street.
Okay, again, that has to get passed.
Well,
again, that has to get approved.
We got less than a minute.
Oh my
and
God.
I'd like to see some figures that say there's enough stock that at 0.5% it would pay for it. But I did
Mike,
go.
Do you think Warren Buffett is going to be okay with that?
No, of course not.
Do you think what's his name, Mr. Gates is going to be?
Nobody's going to be.
No, they're not going to. And then they're going to turn to the other politicians and say, "Don't you dare vote for that."
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
Don't you vote for that.
We have.
I don't know how we run out of time.
I know we
run
always
out
do.
of so much time.
With 30 seconds left in the next few weeks, we're going to have Ms. Laura Banner from Compassionate Education to talk about Alzheimer's and all types of dementia. We're going to have Mr. Stephen Sless, one of my fellow national reverse mortgage people that is just doing wonderful things in his geographic area. We have Mr. Colin Castle coming back, the regional director of Home Instead, because in-home care is so important.
Very important.
It's going to be a great month. I'm back. I'm healthy. This will be gone next week. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye-bye.